Good evening, SLT family. Yes, this is Catherine, your host. We are back for another powerful evening with another queen that is a mover, that is a shaker, that is making it happen with her business. But not only with her business, she is making a huge impact on everyone she comes in contact with. Miss Vanessa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm so happy to be here this evening.
Absolutely. Listen, we follow each other on Instagram, and the thing that I immediately gravitated to was the positive vibes, the positive energy also for your page. And tonight, we just want to peel back the layers, learn a little bit about who you are, learn about your business, share some golden nuggets, as I like to say, tips and tools that we can help other entrepreneurs that's tuning into this show. So let's kick off the conversation first with share with our listening audience who is Vanessa, and let everyone know about your business.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you for the compliment. I am very intentional about keeping the energy positive and high because I think it's very important, especially right now. So let's see a bit about me. I'm the founder of Clarity is Crucial, and that's where you can find me. And I help brilliant women elevate into the person their purpose needs them to be. That's like the simplest way I can say it. A bit about my background. Let's see. I'm a fourth generation healer and intuitive. I have a Fortune 500 background, and I have indigenous roots. So I fuse that all together in the work that I do. So
wow.
What have I done? Yeah, it's kind of an unusual combination, but it works. So I know the creator made me this juicy for a reason, and I got to put it out there. So that's a bit about me. And what else can I tell you about the business? It started about 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay. Yes, please share.
So it started, about 5 years ago, and it started as a test. I got this intuitive sense that I needed to make a shift with the other business that I was doing, which I'm no longer a part of anymore. And what happened was I started doing some market research and asking people, what do you really want from me? And everyone said, clarity. Like that word just continued to come up, that they come to me for clarity. And it led me to this viewpoint that clarity is crucial. And that's essentially where the business was born.
So what I'm hearing from you, you listened to your target audience, you heard what they said, you took it in, you connected with it, and therein lied was the birth of your business. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, I still get chills when I think about it.
Yeah, because the naming of one's business, that's important. You don't want to just, pick a name out of the sky and just randomly call it something. You want it to have a true connection to what you're going to be doing and who you are as an individual.
Absolutely. You want it to be searchable so your people can find you. So that became like such a crucial thing for me. And so I tested it further. I started my Instagram page before I started the business to see if I could build a community around this viewpoint. And sure enough, the community started building and I started getting messages. And a few months after that, I already made my first 4-figure sale directly from Instagram. And that's when I knew I was on to something big.
Wow. Now, I want to tap into something that you said at the top of when you were sharing about yourself. You help people elevate higher. Kind of dive a little deeper into that. What is your process if someone were to want to come to you, utilize some of your services? Kind of elaborate.
I would love to. So I created an exclusive leadership training program based on this, and it's called Role Model Mastery. And that's where I guide women through this process. And it is specifically designed to do just that, to help women be the person their purpose needs them to be. So I help them get clear on the kind of leader they need to be, because without that level of clarity, you cannot make your purpose your reality. I help them elevate into new ways of thinking and being, because those old ways just are not going to serve them going forward, especially now. Like what got us to where we are now is not going to get us to that next level. And then ultimately, that helps them build the courage to lead, because that's what walking the path of our purpose is asking us to do. And the world needs more leaders who look like us and move like us and value what we're valuing right now.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, oh my gosh, I need you to follow her page on Instagram. Clarity is crucial is her IG handle. And I'm actually looking at a quote right now that you have posted, and I think it connects with what you were just saying. It says, being fully self-expressed is your soul's ultimate goal. Talk about that quote that you posted on your page.
Oh, yes. So that's another one of my viewpoints is we are often taught to maybe dim our light because we're afraid that we're going to be too brilliant for some people. We're taught to like silence our voice and not really speak our truth, especially as women. It's really deep in the conditioning, and it's something we get to elevate out of. We get to evolve out of that. Because ultimately, if you don't feel free to be yourself, then I don't believe you can truly be successful.
Wow. So it's stepping out of the box and flowing into your authentic self.
Absolutely. That is your own lane. That's your zone. Nobody can be you. And that ultimately makes you unique in your field. As the more you can lean into that, the more you're going to stand out for your people.
Wow. Listen, so I know you're in Miami, but what if someone's listening and they may not be in Miami? Do you work with other businesses or individuals that need coaching that's statewide?
Absolutely. I actually work with clients internationally. So I've worked with women all the way from San Diego to Sweden. I do online. All of my entire business is technically a tech business because it's all online based now. I didn't start out that way, but I did make the transition soon after I started Clarity's Cruise Show. And I just found it allowed me to be able to connect with more people, even if they weren't in my city. And I felt like my work was able to translate well from in-person to online, as long as I could see them and I still have a very deep connection with my clients. So that, yes, I work with women internationally, which I feel like, again, that's the wave of the future. That's where we're leaning towards. And we can reach more people like that. We can serve more people. We can help more people.
Wow. So what do you see for yourself in 2020 as your business continues to grow? What are some of your goals?
Well, one of my goals, I'm still working on it right now, it's to publish at least 100 episodes on my podcast. And I'm right now, I'm going to publish, let's see, I've published 71 episodes so far. So I'm 71% of the way to that goal. And that goal, I'm hitting that goal in 2020. That was just something I set for myself. It was a challenge because when I first started podcasting, I wanted to be sure that I didn't just pick it up as a hobby and drop it the next day. I really wanted it to be something that I was going to dive all into and really grow through. And that's exactly what it's been for me. It's been an evolving journey. Like, I listened to the first episode and I laughed, but I leave them up there because I think it's important for other people to see our evolution too.
Absolutely. And I think, where we start, we always know that's not where we're going to finish, as long as we continue to take one step in front of the other and keep moving forward. And since you talk about evolution, when we think about your industry that you're in, what type of trends have you seen in this industry of coaching and consultation and working with individuals from that standpoint?
So one of the trends I'm seeing right now is people are wanting, and this is just me personally from experience, but also from other women that I mastermind with and connect with, is people are wanting to connect with you live more. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. So what I started doing back in April, I hosted a workshop. It's called Game Plan. It's a free workshop. And it's a live workshop that happens online, and it's designed to help women move out of fear and into action. And I had a really positive result, but I also felt like the women there valued being able to connect with a leader live and being able to ask questions that were personally challenging them and get those answers and get that support so they could really get the experience of what it's like to work with you without having to jump on maybe a consultation call. That a lot of people in my industry lean on that strategy. So I feel like this is a shift that's happening right now. And if you can jump on that, the sooner the better for your business. Like, allow the people to connect with you live in a setting and see what it's like to talk to you, to be with you, to really own the fact that you are the business.
Absolutely.
So
and
that's
I think, That's what you say. I mean, and I think it's true with what you're saying. I mean, really making a real connection. For any entrepreneur that's listening to this show now or later, your business will ultimately grow. And I truly believe it is indicative of the connections you make, real authentic connections. Because a lot of times people want their business to grow. Of course, we all do. But what type of legitimate connections are we making so a person can see the value in your service? Because if someone sees the value, they're going to do business with you at the end of the day. And so,
absolutely, yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Not only value in business, but value in oneself. You know, because there's a lot going on right now with COVID-19. We know a lot of people are going through different things. Some may be having challenges with shifting right now. And talk about the shift. How to move forward even during the shift.
That's a great question. So one of the things I'm seeing, and during COVID-19, I've actually proactively been reaching out to my current clients, to my past clients, and even the community on Instagram and polling people like, what do you need? What's the challenges you're having? Because I wanted to know the same thing. What are they struggling with? And one of the things that kept coming up was this internet overwhelm, this information overload, that they're feeling drained. And when I dug deeper, you know, I asked more questions because I was like, I really want to get to know what's happening, what's leading you to this. So what I realized is they're trying to do everything all at once. So let's say they're in the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey, and right now maybe there's a bit of a scramble to try and figure that out. And they're trying to do it all at once. So they're trying to figure out, like, what am I going to sell? What am I going to offer? How am I going to market it? Where am I going to market it? How to build a website? How to write copy? Like, they're signing up for all these newsletters, and they're just constantly consuming information. But unfortunately, not all of that information is still relevant or accurate even. You know, there's a lot of content out there, and there's not a lot of quality out there. So I think that's one of the big struggles, and they have to be more discerning, but also that to take it further, what I've challenged them to do is to get clear on like that one thing that you need to focus on right now before all those other things make sense. So that you're not like, I'm going to say like sprinkling and scattering your energy all over the place and making a little progress on a little bit of things. Rather, make massive progress on that one project that matters the most right now and get it done.
Yeah. You know, because a lot of times otherwise you can feel overwhelmed. It's too much going on, and you won't have a laser focus. And it helps you to have perspective also when you identify that one main thing. Go all in with it and really build it. And then as time goes along, you can always integrate other things.
Exactly. So it's not their fault that they feel like that. And I think it's important to say that too. Like, it's not your fault if you feel unfocused or unmotivated. Just it's important to be mindful and make sure that you're not contributing to that overwhelm unnecessarily.
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle, because a lot of times I often talk about you know, not getting stuck or not allowing the naysayers to keep you in a box. But sometimes what are we saying to ourselves? You know, self-talk. What do we say to ourselves that's allowing us to stay in the box? Can you little talk about that, about being in the box and self-talk?
Yeah. So I would say right now that I know some people say mindset is everything. It's not everything, but it might be like 80% of the game. You know, because when you think about it, it's your dominant level of consciousness is going to dictate how you think, how you move through the day, and how you feel through the day, right? So even if you want to stay focused, but you haven't worked on the mindset part, it's going to feel like a struggle. It's going to feel like you're pushed against the current, because ultimately that's what's happening. You might still be pushing against the current. You might not be thinking as big as you need to be thinking. You might be leaving money on the table because the mindset might be operating in a way that tells you that's not possible for me.
Right.
So, so we need to be mindful of that. And one of the things I do is I have a mindfulness practice that I started just before Clarity is Crucial was born. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it came through at that time. So for me, it's simple. It's just journaling every day. And I do that every day without fail. It has been a part of my life for like 5 years. And that simple free practice has made such a difference for me in how I show up in the world.
Wow. I mean, I see another quote on your page. It says, "How women plus money change the world." Talk about that. What is that quote all about?
That quote was about an article I wrote on how there was a shift in the economy already happening, and that women, whether it's been made known in mainstream media or not, but we essentially are holding a lot of the wealth, especially in this country. We run the way the wealth moves. Like, we're the one making the buying decisions for the family on a day-to-day basis. So we have the power to change how the economy shows up for us by what we buy and how we vote with our dollars. That's basically like where it came from. And so the more women are allowed to grow, I believe, as entrepreneurs, that's good for the economy, because it also changes the way we spend money. And so for me, like, for one example would be, one example is I'm more likely to buy a product if I know it came from a woman-owned business.
Absolutely.
So, and I want to support that.
Absolutely. And kind of, I think a good follow-up question to that is, when you think about entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship, how can women come together to help build up our communities from an entrepreneurial standpoint?
Good question. I feel like right now, creativity and collaboration is the key, especially for those of us that do not have like big, massive teams like these big corporations do. We can come together, we can collaborate. And the interesting thing is that when you think about an entrepreneur, what do? We solve problems. We create solutions. We see the gaps and we fill them. And I feel like we're being called to rise up even more right now. And that's something that we can do together by sharing resources, sharing information, brainstorming, masterminding solutions that could ultimately help us all stay in business, but also succeed in the long term.
Wow. Listen, guys, you were tuned into SLT The Talk. This has been such a powerful show, and we're not even done yet. I'm just so intrigued. I feel like I'm being empowered, and I know the listening audience, you feel the same way. Listen, I'm drawn to something else that I see on your page, and it says, "Do one thing every day that centers you, a mindfulness journal." Is that a journal that you put out?
No, that is not a journal I put out. It was a journal that I found at a store. I'm not sure if I'm able to say on the podcast the store, but it's Urban Outfitters. You can edit that out later if you want to. But I found it in the store, and I thought it was so perfect because it goes back to what you were asking about mindset, and mindset is not something that we can just work on one time and we're done. It's really a daily practice, and it's a daily reset. It's a normal part of your life, and it's just something that will help ground you. So for me, it could be, I share journaling, but I use other practices throughout my day, like rituals, to help me transition throughout the day so I don't get burned out. I use rituals when I go out in the morning, for example. Like, I like to just go out on my patio every morning and put my bare feet in the grass. And even throughout all this, it's just 5 minutes where I sit there and I feel the feet in my feet in the grass and the sunshine and the fresh air. And it's just one moment for me to get centered before I get pulled into all of the demands that we have, like family and work and all our own personal goals. You know, it's a lot. So if we can do that for ourselves, it'll feed us, it'll energize us, it'll sustain us, and it'll make this whole journey more sustainable.
Wow. Do one thing every day that centers you. You know, one thing that I really love, I love my essential oils and putting it in the diffuser. And I did that last night, and I put on some jazz music, and I just mellowed out.
That's my favorite. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, essential oils and music, yes.
Yes, you know, and so find your space. That's basically what we're talking about. Find what centers you, find what works for you. I know walking, I've been, especially since COVID-19, I've had to implement extra things just to maintain. And so I've just been doing a lot more walking as well, you know, and put my music on and just get it in. And so find what centers you, find what works for you. And so when you think about community, what ways have you sown back into the community?
Well, one of the ways is definitely after I pulled my community, with all this COVID-19 stuff that I started creating more of the content that addressed their challenges and their concerns. So I started sharing more of focus tips that they can implement on a daily basis. You can find that on my highlights on Instagram. And they also wanted more behind the scenes. So I started sharing like little behind the scenes videos on my stories on Instagram too, so they could see what it's like. And sometimes it's just as simple as like, this is me working on getting a podcast episode ready. You know, this is me checking my stats, or this is, you know, this is me yesterday I made some fresh watermelon juice because we had a giant watermelon, and so I put it up. I'm like, this is what I'm sipping on while I work right now, because hydration helps us stay focused. So it's like little things like that that make all the difference.
Wow.
So that's one way I'm offering. Yeah, that's one way I'm offering to help the community, but also I'm sharing those same resources on my podcast. And on a personal note, what I shared earlier, I'm just being more conscious about buying intentionally in my community, more from like small businesses, entrepreneurs, family businesses, local businesses, because I feel like that's a way that we can continue to support. I mean, we still have to buy food and things like that. So I started buying vegetables from a farm, a small farm that's not too far away. It's a bit of a drive, but that's one way I feel like I can give back to the community, because it's helping other families in my community directly. Yeah. So that's something that's been really important to me throughout all this.
That's powerful. For those of you that are tuned in, you are tuned into SLT The Talk. We are talking to Miss Vanessa. She's a mover and shaker. She's in Miami. However, she's statewide and international. On her caption on her IG page, which I encourage you to follow, which is Clarity is Crucial, it says, helping brilliant women be the person their purpose needs them to be. Go to her website. It's also clarityiscrucial.com. As we come down to a close, can you share with the listening audience 3 tips and tools that help you stay motivated as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So the first tip I would say is ask yourself, are you clear on the kind of person your purpose needs you to be specifically? Like, do you know what you need to be doing daily, weekly, even monthly? Like, what are the goals to be that person? Because it ultimately comes down to priorities. And I feel like we touched on this earlier in the interview, priorities. You know, are you clear on what your priorities are right now? What is the thing that needs to be treated as more important than other things just for right now? Because a lack of clarity will lead to a lack of priorities. And not being clear on the priorities is what delays our purpose, and then also diminishes our peace of mind because we feel unfulfilled. So that would be the first tip I'd start with, is to get clear on the kind of person your purpose needs you to be right now.
Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, yes. You know, I mean, this has been such a powerful segment. I encourage everybody to follow her page. Do you have any announcements or anything upcoming with your business that you would like to share?
Well, if you like the tips that I shared here, then you're going to absolutely love my free Role Model Mastery Checklist. That's a free checklist you can find on my website at Clarity is Crucial, and it's fully focused on the 25 points to help you be the person your purpose needs. And you can sign up for instant access right now on the website. So it's just specifically designed to give you more clarity on where you're at in your journey and what is that you could do next for where you're at, so that you can show up ultimately as a woman, because we need her. We need her more than ever right now.
Yes. Listen, we're going to have to feature you. We have something coming up in July. July 16th, 17th, and 18th, we have something called Speak Life to the Nations, and we have different breakout groups and different things. So we can talk offline about that, but your energy is your vibration is definitely high. I would love for you to be a part of that in some type of a way. So for those of you that don't know, July 16th, 17th, and 18th, you want to plug in, check out our website, speaklifetour.org. We have a lineup of 32 speakers in combination with performing artists, statewide and international. We're so excited and how this is going to be a time of inspiration, motivation, but also education, because we want to empower the masses so that way, no matter what situation may come in our life, we can continue to go higher. And again, connect with Miss Vanessa. Clarity is Crucial is her IG handle, her website, clarityiscrucial.com. Miss Vanessa, thank you so much for being a part of this segment tonight.
Thank you, Catherine, for having me here and let me be part of the Speak Life Tour magic. I really love what you're doing. I had a great time today. Thank you.
Absolutely. And good night, everyone. And we're going to see everybody at the top.